Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian. Sorry for that surprise entrance. I'm just trying out a new system today, so thank you for your patience. It's kind of experimental. It's a little bit of something new that I'm doing. So if you find something strange about the video or the sound, please let me know. Hi, Shanu. Hi, Gailey. Hi, Bip. Hi, so many students who are joining in. Great to see all of you today. I am broadcasting to you live, still from beautiful Budapest, Hungary, where it is getting close to the festive season of December. Our materials are coming from our websites, aehelp.com for academic IELTS. And if you're learning for general IELTS, please check us out at IELTShelp.com. That's generalieltshelp.com, where we have lots of goodies for you. I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. Hi, Jock Kaur. Hi, Vanity Sean. Good to see some more of our members joining in for today's class. Hi, Manisha. Good to see you as always. All right, ladies and gents. You can get our app from your iTunes or Play Store. Just look for our logo, search for Academic IELTS Help. You can also get our exam books in hard copy. You'll see the reading that we're using from one today. If you're looking for academic IELTS exams, you can search Amazon for AE Helps Academic IELTS. And if you're looking for general, search for GE Helps General IELTS. If you have questions about IELTS, comments, concerns, questions about our product, send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com. That's my name, at academicenglishhelp.com. Today, reading strategy. Tomorrow, we'll do a members chat class. So members, I know there's a few of you watching now. Please make sure to join in tomorrow's members chat class. It will be a class on reading again, and it will be focusing on matching people. Today we're focusing on two question types for reading. We're focusing on true, false, not given, and matching information to paragraphs. Okay, that's what we're doing today. Thanks for confirming on that, Shanu. Awesome. All right, everyone. So just a quick peek at our websites. This is what the academic one looks like. It's got the blue background. You log in at the top, or you join by clicking that giant red button, or you can try it by clicking the smaller green button. The general one looks like that with the green background. All right, let's get to our book. Boom, there we go. Here is today's reading passage. I'll make that a little bit bigger for you so you can read the text even better. And right away, you see that nice picture of our two lovely friends here walking towards us. And above the picture, you see the title of the reading passage. Why do tortoises live so long? Before we start to read the passage, we always read the title, okay? I had a student complain that they felt really bad about their IELTS exam because they didn't do well on the reading. They ran out of time. They couldn't answer all the questions. They were really frustrated. And as I discovered, they were doing skimming and scanning. Skimming and scanning is not a good strategy, and it's not a good way to save time, okay? Please don't do that. It does not work. You need to read the passage. It's a much better, faster strategy. Believe me. Just practice it correctly. First step is, why do tortoises live so long? Read the title. A lot of students think they save time if they jump the title. That's terrible. Okay, let me ask you a kind of a funny question. Would you ever go to the movies and pay for a movie in the movie theater without first reading or learning about the title of the movie? Would you just randomly walk into a movie theater, say, okay, here's $10, don't tell me the title, I'm just going to go in and watch it, and I'm going to have some fun? it might be a good experiment, but you probably would never do that, okay? You would probably never do that. You want to get at least a good idea of what you're going to be seeing, right? If it's not your genre, if it's not your cup of tea, you don't want to go waste 2 hours of your life watching something that you have no idea about, all right? So don't do it for a reading passage either. Don't just start reading tortoises are some of the longest lived creatures in nature. If you start reading in the IELTS, right away, you don't pay attention to the title, and you just go, tortoises are some of the longest lived creatures in nature. You have no idea if this passage is about tortoises, if it's about the longest lived creatures on earth, if it's about nature. So that's not a good idea. But if you read the title, Why Do Tortoises Live So Long? Then you're sure when you read that first sentence that you're reading about these cute, large animals here, all right? So you take 2 steps with the title, 2 important steps. What are the 2 important steps that you should take with the title? Spending 1 minute for these 2 important steps will save you a lot of minutes, a lot of frustration, and your IELTS band scores. What are those 2 important steps with the title that you should always do? Okay, thank you for agreeing with me on that, students. I'm happy you're on page. I'm reading your comments here, and I can see that a lot of you have answered that, yeah, you probably wouldn't walk into a movie without knowing the title of the movie. So, what do you do? What are the 2 key steps that you do with the title? This is before you do anything. Don't look at the questions. Don't look at anything. Look at the title. Take these 2 steps, all right? So, 2 steps. Here's a strategy for you, okay? So 2 steps. This is a strategy, very important strategy for reading. Okay, number 1, always take 2 important steps with the title. Okay, A is you do what? Let's see. Understand it probably. Yeah, absolutely. Anmara, if you don't understand it, you want to really focus in on the words and try to figure them out. But hopefully you do understand it. So 1 is visualize. Okay. Okay, so already start seeing the information. And IELTS knows that this is important. And the education experts, the psychologists that create these IELTS exams, they know that visualization is very important. So they try to remind you by giving you pictures. It's usually black and white. It's not pretty and colorful like this one. But that's to say, hey, look, try to see the information you're going to read because you will answer the questions much better. So 1 is to visualize it. Vanity Sean says, try to paraphrase. Paraphrasing's okay. Vanity also says visualize. Paraphrasing's okay, but even more importantly for step B is use critical thinking and ask why, what, why, how, okay? All right, so you really need to do that. And of course, you can't write it down. You don't have enough time to write that down in your test papers, but you need to think about that. And in your mind, you have to come up with the answers, okay? So let's just go through this verbally. So what does it mean turtles live so long, okay? So let's do it with this title here. So we're visualizing, we picture these turtles. What does it mean that turtles live so long? Before you start reading, okay, before you begin to read, what does it mean to you from your own knowledge, from your experiences, from your childhood learning, reading books, watching nature movies, talking to other people? What does it mean that turtles live so long? And here, Give me numbers, okay? Vanity says they have a long lifespan. Sure, so their lives are really long, but how many years are their lives? 150 years, 200 years, 250 years. So think of a number. Doesn't have to be correct, but just pick a number. So 250 years, sure, okay? Nitu says they live 300 years. Awesome, okay. Why? So right away, okay, and you're doing this in 1 minute. So maximum 1 minute for this visualization and this critical thinking. So why do the turtles live this long? Okay, quickly, ladies and gents. And how? Give me both answers. So why do they live this long? How do they live this long? What do you know about it? What don't you know about it? Give me as much information as you can. Collect that information in your mind before you begin reading. Because when you start to read, there's a very good chance that you will understand a lot more of the English and figure out new words much faster and better if you have this information preloaded in your mind, okay? So, Ra'at Satish says they breathe very slowly. Savage Gopi says, because they're slow, like me. Savage, I hope you live to 250 years, all right? Tainder says, well, because they're cold-blooded. Mustaq says, well, they walk slowly. Barry says it's part of their genetics. It's the way that they're built. All right, good. Jubilant James says, because of slow BMR, body metabolic rate, I believe that acronym is, Jubilant, right? Or blood metabolic rate. Absolutely, metabolic rate. Metabolism, if this is a new word for many of you, the metabolism is the processing of energy in our body system. So it means eating food, breaking down the food, and then using that food for energy in movement and other behaviors. That's called metabolism, okay? Hakim Neto says, well, because they don't have predators. So there isn't a giant bear that comes along and attacks these poor little guys and eats them for dessert. Potentially, absolutely. Some of you, okay, don't forget to visualize. I don't know if anybody said this. Oh, Mustaq is kind of close. He says the upper skin is very hard. You mean the shell, right? I mean, the picture is right in front of you, ladies and gents. The shell, they're protected, okay? They have armor. It's the shell, it's the plating. Good. So that's what you want to do in that first 30 seconds, 40 seconds when you get to a reading passage like this. Read the title. Okay, why do turtles, I mean, here the title is the question. Why do tortoises live so long? Well, what is living so long? 250 years. Why? They're slow-moving, they're cold-blooded, they have slow metabolisms, they have this big shell, they don't have animals hunting them. How? Okay, well, they live on an island. They go about 5 to 10 meters every 10 minutes or every 1 hour. Okay, so that's the how. Remember, be good at separating the why and the how questions. That is a very important trick for the IELTS. So important that I'll actually mention that for you, okay? So remember to master. This is an important skill here. Remember to master separating the why and the how questions from each other, okay? Do not confuse those. In fact, you need to master separating all three of these from each other, but definitely those two. That's a big trick that you have to practice at home, all right? Okay, great. So you read the title. You're visualizing. By the way, when you're visualizing, be active, include yourself. So here, what should you do? Well, what? Pop up there, and there you are. You are right now a person riding this turtle. You're having a fun time. You're riding him around, and you are following his or her, I'm not sure of the gender here, but you're following the life of this turtle, learning about, hey, why do you guys live so long? So you are a turtle cowboy or a turtle cowgirl. Be active in your visualizations when you're practicing at home, getting ready for IELTS. Make them fun, okay? And include yourself and really picture it like a movie inside your head, okay? Really picture what you are reading, the information. It will help you to master the information. Sorry, I'll get you back on screen here, ladies and gents. I know I had a momentary timeout there. Sorry about that. Just give me 1 second. All right, here we go. There you are. Okay, there you are. There's the ride 'em cowboy tortoise going on. All right. Good. So now, next step. Look at the questions. Okay, look at the questions. Decide whether to read them or not to read them, like the famous quote in the play Hamlet by Shakespeare, right? To be or not to be. It's a very important piece of information. I'll erase my cowboy self here. So very important question to ask yourselves when you're getting to these questions. So to read or not to read, here's our first set of questions. Reading passage 1 has 6 paragraphs, A to F. Which paragraph contains the following information? So this type of question in IELTS is called matching information, because you're matching the information, these statements or these sentences. They're always paraphrased. Should I read this, girls and guys? Preem-san, I like how you're writing on the tortoise as well. Okay. Junu, send me that as an email. You're asking me is 6.5 acceptable for UK in writing. It depends what you want to do. If you're going for immigration or a bachelor's degree, usually yes. If you're going for a master's degree, maybe not. PhD, most likely not. Yes, I should read that question. Absolutely, Vanity. And absolutely, Preeti. Yeah, we should read them because this is all information that's somewhere in the passage. And one of the other reasons it's good to read these questions is you notice how there's 5 statements here, okay? So pay attention to this. Watch this, ladies and gents. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 statements, okay? And also, here you see that, okay, there's 6 paragraphs. So watch this logic. It's a good tip here coming up. So I know that these 5 questions do not cover the whole passage because there's 6 paragraphs. So at most, I'm getting a little bit of a snapshot or a little preview of 5, maximum 5 paragraphs. But of course, always pay attention to this, the NB. It means note by the way. You may use any letter more than once. That means that maybe a couple of these are coming from the same paragraph. So for example, if 2 and 4 both come from, let's say, paragraph B, okay, the second paragraph, then that means that if this is D, this is A, this is C, then really I'm just getting a picture of 3 paragraphs here, okay? However, that's still pretty good. It gives me a snapshot or a little preview of 3 of the paragraphs that I'm going to read. So this kind of question can really help you to understand what the passage will be about that you're going to read, okay? So they're really good to read before. It has information that's all in the passage, and it's always paraphrased, okay? These sentences, this type of question is always paraphrased. Paraphrased means that you cannot search for these words, okay? It's very difficult to search for these words, and there's a good chance that you will get the answers wrong if you're just searching for keywords like life expectancy. The whole passage is about the long life of tortoises. So if you're searching and skim reading for life expectancy, you might find that in paragraph A, D, C, and you're going to be confused, okay? So this is a really bad question to try to skim read for. You can really get in trouble, okay? You want to answer this without skim reading. All right, so let's read the questions. ladies and gents, and it'll make sense. You'll see when we answer them that it will make a lot of sense how to do this. So number one, factors that lower tortoises' life expectancy. Okay, tortoises being used as a food source, separation from predators contributes to their long lifespan. Some animals have different methods of ensuring the species lives on. Tortoises have difficulty adapting to new environmental pressures. Now, at home, when I'm practicing for the IELTS, this is what I would do, girls and guys. So, I would say, paraphrase it. So, aspects that decrease the years a tortoise lives. Okay, so factors paraphrased as aspects, decrease paraphrased as lower. Okay, expectancy, the years a tortoise lives, descriptive paraphrasing. And at home, I would do another step and I would think about what those are. Okay, disease, predators, pollution. Okay, so I would quickly think about factors or aspects that decrease the life of a tortoise before I read. So as I'm reviewing these questions, again, I'm only spending about 1 or 2 minutes on this, okay? Pretty nice paraphrase there. Causes that reduce the life cycle of a tortoise. Very good, okay? That's some nice paraphrasing as well. All right, so I would do that for every question. So for every question, paraphrase, and for every question, think about a response like this here, all right? So that's what you want to do. It's really, really good practice at home. It will improve your band scores. On the official IELTS, when you're doing the real test, you don't have time for that, okay? But you have time to do it in your mind, in your brain, okay? So that's why you practice on paper at home. So in the official IELTS, when you get there, you can quickly do it in your head, all right? Okay, let's just a quick question, okay, before we look at the next. Separation from predators contributes to their long lifespan, okay? Separation, paraphrase the word separation for me. What's another way to say separation? I'll take a little bit of time here because it's very important, okay? And we're focusing on this question strategy. What's a way to say separation in English? What's a way to say predator? What's a way to say contribute? What's a way to say long lifespan? Okay. So Pranay says divide. Roshni says segregate. Distance, filter, segregation. Dislocate, blonde 394 is not a good synonym for separate in this context. If I dislocate my shoulder, then it's separated. That's okay. There's a word that I'm still not seeing. There's a better word for separate. Barry says contributes, causes, or leads to. A better word for separation in this context, I didn't see it. I saw some okay ones, but nobody gave me the word isolate. Okay? Or isolation, to keep the same word form. Okay? Contributes, lends to, or lends to, or causes, sure. All right. Isolation was the word I was looking for, Jublon. Partition and scatter are not very good. Savage Gobby got isolate there. I can see that. Predators. Anybody paraphrase that one for me? Not really, right? It's enemies, for example. Okay. Predators are enemies. Okay. Would be an okay one. All right. How are tortoises isolated? So how are tortoises separated from their enemies, from predators, from animals that eat them? Okay, from the carnivores. So how are they isolated? So we got the paraphrase. That's good. So what's the answer in your own mind? What is the answer to that? Kesey says it could be a poacher, somebody who's hunting them, like a hunter. Yeah, absolutely. So Samrat says their shell helps them to separate them. Yeah, perhaps, absolutely. It's a layer of armor, right? So maybe the shell. We often see the depiction of tortoises ducking into their shell to protect them, like a little house. Strong outer shell. Yeah, what else? Roshni Kunte says they live in the mountains, so deep in forests on mountains. Sure. So their habitat. Okay. Gally says they live upland. Yeah, perhaps. And also, I don't think anybody said it yet, but they live on islands, right? So they're island dwellers. They live on islands. They're separated by nothing less than the ocean from their enemies, right? So they live in deep forests, they live on islands, and so on. So you realize that if you're reading a paragraph that's talking about the tortoises in isolation, living on islands, deep in forests, then you're probably going to have the correct match for that question, right? So that's how you know. All right, cool. Let's look at the next set. Okay, so here's our next set of questions. It's a complete the sentences below. I did an example strategy for this last week or 2 weeks ago, so I'm not going to get too crazy with this. Should you read this one? Yes. It's, again, all information contained in the passage. It will help you to understand the passage. So write your answers in boxes 6 to 9 on your answer sheet. The causes of the tortoise's long life are biological and while salmon lay thousands of eggs at once, tortoises rely on there to continue the species. Unlike the tortoise, animals such as the have very high metabolisms. The tortoises protect them from attacks, thus lengthening their life. Okay? 2 words. We can probably guess this one. The tortoises, so it's a singular because the apostrophe is before the S, so this is just one tortoise. If you had to guess, if I said you win $1 million if you guess this, sorry, I can't honor that bet, but if I said you can, you get a prize if you tell me that space or that blank, what would you say? And again, remember, it's 2 words. So if you had to say 2 words, what would they be? Vanity, you said shell. Barry said shell. But 2 words, if you had to say 2 words. Gailey Valeroso Jr. says hard shell. Hard shell. Absolutely. The hard shell would be a good answer. So hard shell. Let me get you back on screen here. I'm not sure why the camera shut off there. Okay, just give me one moment. Just a little bit of a technical mishap here. Just give me 1 second. I got you. All right. So, hard shell. Let's get back in there. Yeah, that would be my guess as well. So if I said 2 words, I have to guess. I ran out of time. I couldn't find this one. I would go hard shell. Keep the S small, okay? The S should stay small because this is in the middle of a sentence. So keep it small. But hard shell would be a good guess, absolutely. And I bet you'd get that correct. Okay, let's look at questions 10 to 13. Questions 10 to 13, it's true, false, not given. Thank you, Shanu. True, false, not given. Should I read this before the passage? Stiff would not be good. Amara, just because it's an awkward way to modify the word shell. We wouldn't use that adjective, stiff shell, awkward. So Vanity says, don't read true, false, not given. You should read that only after the passage. Absolutely. It just contains confusing information, so don't read it because some of those statements are false, some of them are not given. They will just confuse you when you read the passage. So let's go ahead and read this passage together, okay? So once you've done that, okay, and I realize that, we're taking a bit of time here. You only have 20 minutes to do everything in the real world here. Again, 30 seconds, 40 seconds, read the title, answer what, why, how, visualize. 1 minute, 2 minutes to read all the questions that you should read and do a bit of paraphrasing in your mind, okay? Then you get to the passage. You should read the passage in about 8 minutes, okay? And that's lots of time. A native speaker would read a passage like this in about 4 or 5 minutes, okay? Keep that in mind, okay? So remember this, okay? This is just this is for you to think about when you're practicing for IELTS, all right? So remember, a native English speaker with medium grade 12 education, okay, not university, grade 12 education, would read an IELTS passage comfortably in about 5 minutes. Okay, so you should be able to, oh, I'm not sure why I keep cutting out here with the camera. That's a little bit strange. Just give me a moment here, ladies and gents. Just having a video issue here, so you're going to have to take a peek at my daughter here for a second. Just a second. I'll turn it back on. My camera definitely said, hey, I'm turning off. I don't know why. Just give me 1 minute. If that's reoccurring, I'm going to have to switch up equipment. But just bear with me. Let's try that one more time. All right, here we go. So, okay. So, here we go. All right, so you should be able to read the passage in 8 to 10 minutes and understand at least 60%, let's say 70% of the information. Okay, to get a band 7. I'm just going to go with that, all right? So a lot of, thank you, need to. So a lot of people ask, okay, well, how fast should I be reading for IELTS? If I want to get a band 7, how fast should I read? You should be able to read the passage in 8 to 10 minutes fairly comfortably, understand roughly 70% of what you read, and then you'll get about band 7. And again, keep in mind that a grade 12 native English speaker who with a medium level, so we're not talking about an A+ student here, okay? We're talking about like a B student, can read a passage like this in about 5 minutes, okay? So keep that in mind, all right? All right, so let's do that. Let's read together. Okay, here we go. Starting with the first paragraph. Read with me nice and loud, okay? So practice reading aloud at home. All right. Here we go. Tortoises are some of the longest-lived creatures in nature. They can live so long that scientists have yet to fully document the lifespan of these hard-shelled reptiles. Reports, however, indicate that certain species of tortoise can live up to 200 years, far longer than the average human life. The reason tortoises live so long are evolutionary and biological. Though the population of these ancient creatures is declining due to low reproduction rates and increased predation. Nature is incredibly diverse. Okay, so I'm continuing with the next paragraph here. Nature is incredibly diverse, but the common factor among creatures is the need to reproduce. Some creatures, such as humans, have small numbers of young which are cared for diligently. Others, such as salmon, have no interaction with their offspring whatsoever. Instead, salmon rely on the sheer number of eggs they lay. They lay so many eggs that some are bound to survive to adulthood, while some animals rely on care or vast numbers of eggs. The tortoise relies on the longevity of their life. Female tortoises can produce offspring for well over a century. This is one reason tortoises live so long, so they can reproduce many times and thus continue the species. Reproduction, however, is not a cause of tortoises' longevity. The most fundamental cause of their longevity is their incredibly slow metabolism. A creature's metabolism is the rate at which they process food and energy. Some animals, such as the hummingbird, have very fast metabolisms in order to power their high-energy existences. Conversely, tortoises have very slow metabolisms because they have very few energy expenditures. In general, creatures with slow metabolisms live longer than those with faster metabolisms. Due to its low metabolism, the tortoise can live for up to a year without food or water. When explorers were traveling to the Galapagos Islands in the 18th, 19th centuries, it was common for sailors to take tortoises on board the ship as they left the islands. Since tortoises survived so long without food or water, they were able to provide the very long-lasting supply of fresh meat. Metabolism alone, however, does not explain the great age to which the tortoise can live. Critical to the tortoise's longevity is their hard shell, which protects them from predators. Every long-lived creature in nature has a mechanism for protection. Some animals have speed to effect a quick escape from predation. Some use intelligence to outwit predators. Some use poison against predators. And some have physical protection. In addition to its hard outer shell, the tortoise is also a large animal. And in general, larger animals tend to live longer than smaller animals. A final cause of tortoises' longevity is their island habitat. Animals which live on islands tend to live longer because they are kept separate from many of the most dangerous predators. Instead of developing energy-inefficient methods of keeping safe from predators, and thus requiring an increased metabolism, tortoises are free to allocate their energy to extending their lifespan and maintaining a very low metabolism. Though tortoises have developed an extraordinary ability to live a long life, today this ability is threatened by a number of factors. First, and perhaps most significant, is predation by humans. In the past, tortoises and humans did not commonly coexist, but today, tortoises are killed by poachers who value the tortoise's shell. Second, the contamination of tortoise habitats had put tortoise young at risk. For the first 5 years of a tortoise's life, they are prone to predators such as rats. Originally, such predators did not share the tortoise's island habitat, but through the introduction of rats and other species to the habitat, it has put the tortoise at risk. Finally, The tortoise's slow metabolism means that they are very slow and virtually incapable of adapting to these new pressures. If tortoise populations are not looked after, they will almost certainly become extinct. All right, ladies and gents, so that's the reading. Don't worry if you didn't get everything. Don't worry if you didn't catch it all. You should pick out just the main information, right? So from paragraph A, you should pick out that tortoises live very long, 200 years. We still don't fully understand their life, okay? From paragraph 2, you should pick out that animals' prime directive, their main goal is to reproduce, and we do that in different ways. The tortoise does that effectively by living very long. Okay, and then C is about why the tortoise lives so long. They have very slow metabolisms. You should understand that. D is about other ways or other factors that help the tortoise live so long, which is their hard shells or their isolation. Okay. E is about living on islands, so that's about the isolation, right? And then F is about the different kinds of dangers for the tortoise. So you should understand just the key points, at least from these paragraphs, to get most of these questions correct. All right, so let's answer these questions together now. Let's match these up. All right, here we go. So Anu says, it took me about 7 minutes to read that passage. Thank you, Anu, for letting me know that. So if you can read it as fast as I did, I was reading at I don't want to say slow, but it was a relatively slow, comfortable speed. So you can even read a little bit slower than I read. All right. So number 1, factors that lower tortoises' life expectancy. You should not have to look for this answer. If you're looking for answer for this one, you will be troubled to get a 6 or a 6.5 on IELTS, okay? So what's the answer to that one? Samarat says it's F, or the final paragraph, right? So you're saying that that's going to be F. Yeah, ladies and gents, that's why I said that you should not be looking for that, because you just read that, okay? You just read the paragraph that contains that information. So if you're searching right after you finish reading that paragraph, that really means that you're not focused, you're not understanding the information. Okay, tortoises being used as a food source. Who ate them? Okay. Who ate the tortoises for number 2? I don't think number 2 is F. I disagree with you. I disagree that number 2 is F. You have to use your critical thinking a little bit more here, ladies and gents. Who ate them? Humans? Yeah. What humans? Be more specific. And this is where if you're visualizing, Preeti says it was the sailors, girls and guys. It was the sailors. Yeah. Okay. Why did the sailors eat them? Okay. Being used, okay? Used. Rats is not good. Rats aren't using them as a food source. Well, arguable, but it's humans that are using them as a food source, right? So why were the sailors eating them? Because they used to go on long boat trips, right? Long boat trips. Yeah, long journeys. So watch the logic here. So why did the sailors eat the tortoises on long journeys? Okay, Shanu says because they were fresh meat. Good. Why were they fresh meat? Training your critical thinking here with this question. Why were they fresh meat? Zena says, well, it was the only animal that stayed fresh on the ship. Why did it stay fresh? Yeah, so Lydia says, well, because they could live long without food and water, slow metabolism, right? So did not need water, slow metabolism. Exactly. So who ate them? Humans. What humans? Sailors. When they were on long journeys on boats. Why? Because the meat was fresh. Why? Because the tortoises didn't need food or water, right? If you're giving all of your food and all of your water to the tortoise, then that's going to create a problem, okay? So it's not a paragraph that's about the sailors per se or about the fresh meat, but it's a paragraph that's about what? It's about their slow metabolism and not needing to eat food and water, okay? So if I have this logical thinking, now what paragraph has this information? So if I use all of this logic, which paragraph has this? Okay, so Dupti says, I think it was the second paragraph maybe. Yeah, because what, why, how, right? Again, what, why, how. So what? Tortoises live long. They live 200, 300 years. Why? Well, because of their slow metabolism. The IELTS people who make the IELTS exam skills, they information flow, so they will use the what, why, how very effectively. So now, even if I have to search, I know it's somewhere in the beginning, okay? So I'm looking for sailors, and I'm looking for food source, right? So this one is about reproduction, okay? And then this one here is about their metabolism. What a bang, look at that. 18th and 19th century, sailors to take tortoises on board as they left the islands. There we go. So C it is, okay? So even if I have to look, I know exactly where I'm looking. I'm looking in the beginning because it's an answer to the why question, and I know that it is C, okay? So F and C. You should not be searching for your questions, and even if you search for a question, you should know where to search. To look. You can't just be looking at the entire passage. That's one of the most common mistakes that a lot of students do. They get all crazy with skimming and scanning, and they skim and scan the whole passage for every single question. And that is terrible strategy, okay? So if you're looking, and this is not skimming and scanning, ladies and gents, this is intelligent searching. If you're looking for an answer in the passage, do it smart. Okay, know at least the general area where you're searching. So that's another big strategy or big tip for today's reading, okay? So do not skim and scan the entire passage looking for answers. If you need to look, if you must look, you should know, let's say it this way so you know I'm very clear here. If you must look, you should know which third of the passage to look. And by this I mean, is it the first third or second third or third third, okay? You should not be looking at the whole passage. Here we were clearly sure that it is the first third. Savage, so Savage says it's hard to remember the paragraphs. Savage, it's not. If you practice at home the right way, then you should be able to remember where the information is in passages, okay? In university, you have to remember information in 30 pages, not a page and a half. So you need to have good active reading skills. And again, you can learn those from the website. All right. Let's move a little bit more smoothly now through the next questions, now that I've given you some of these key strategies here. So first one is F. Second one is C. Some animals have different methods of ensuring the species lives on. Good example of why this strategy will help you here as well. So some animals have different methods of ensuring the species lives on. So lives on means reproducing, right? So which paragraph talks about different methods of protection? So this one is about protection, not reproducing, but protection, right? So which paragraph talks about the different ways? I would say paragraph, not B. B is about reproduction. Sure. Lives on here, I think lives on, a better way to phrase this is survival. Okay? Survival is not reproduction here. So some of you, Vanity and Amara, are saying D maybe. What were the different survival strategies that you learned about? Okay, so my first guess was, okay, think about reproduction, but then no. Remember, I read it in this passage about survival, about animals surviving. What kind of methods? Yeah, so a lot of you are saying, I think that was D. That was coming a little bit later. That was coming a little bit after. What's the survival method of tortoises? Tortoises have a large shell, right? What were the other ways? Jubilant says there was speed, intelligence, and poison. Okay, great. So if you think about that, you go, yeah, okay. Yeah, I remember that. Poison, intelligence. Which third of the essay was it? Was it the first third? Was it the second third? Or was it the third third? So here. Where would we find that information? If I have to go and look, where should I look for this? So where should I look for this information? Here, or here? Yeah, so Barry says maybe look in the second third of the passage. That's what I would do. Absolutely here, the second third. So I looked at C with the sailor. Look at that one. I would probably look at D, okay? So F, C, and then now I would go back, and if I had to, I would look at D, and I would search for that kind of poison and intelligence. Oh, look at that. Intelligence. I've spotted that right away, looking into the center of it. Oh, poison. There it is. Okay, so D would be a great bet here. And I am very happy that many of you are realizing, oh, wait a second, I would look at that in the second third. Okay, good. So far we have F, E, D. Okay, some animals have, oops. Yeah, I see what one of the students saying. I think you jumped a question there, sir. Okay, so number 4 is D. Separation from predators contributes to their long lifespan. Let's answer that one. All right, let me see if I can fix the voice. Just give me 1 second. And while I do that, try to figure these ones out. Okay, so try to figure out that one. That one's about the island, right? And then that one. Think about that one as well. Okay, I'll try to see if I can fix the voice for us here. All right, so you're saying separation was E. Good. And tell me if my voice is okay now as well. Okay, so it's good that you're giving me the answers. You're saying that's E. And tell me if my voice is okay. And tell me the answer to number 5 as well. Okay, so what's the answer to number 5? And how's my voice? Can everybody hear me okay? If you're still having problems, let me know. Like I said at the beginning of class, I'm using a new type of software here, so I want to make sure that it's software, not hardware, or hardware, not software. All right. Okay, good, ladies and gents. Awesome. I'm glad the voice issue is now fixed. Okay, so tortoises have difficulty adapting to new environmental pressures. Logically, where would you put this information? Wrote an essay. Would you put introduction? Would you put it in the body paragraphs, or would you put it? Okay, where would you put that? Okay, some of you are saying that it's not clear. Pranay says it's still not clear. Some of you are saying it's clear. So trying to get a consensus here. But Jubilant, meanwhile, is saying I would put that information in the conclusion. Okay. Yeah. I agree. This would be probably in the conclusion. So this would likely go into F. Okay. All right. Now, okay. Let me just check that out. All right, we'll check that in a second. Okay, F. So, yeah, let's see if that's in F or if it's in the, okay, final paragraph. So, this ability is threatened firstly and perhaps most significant is predation by humans. Okay, so this whole paragraph talks about the difficulty of tortoises having trouble adapting to humans and rats and other new pressures. So difficult adapting to the new pressures at the very end of the conclusion. So good for you. Okay. Ladies and gents, if my voice is not clear, there's not much I can do about that, simply because it's on YouTube. So that's kind of on the streaming side right now, okay? There's not much I can do. It's internet and YouTube. Bear with me. Hopefully it will come back, all right? So the answers to these questions are... going to be in our answer key at the very end here. Let's keep going with fill in the blanks. Let's see how many of these we can do without looking back. All right. Here we go. So here in the blank, pay attention to the instructions, 2 words. So choose no more than 2 words from the passage. For each answer, write your answer in boxes 6 to 9. The causes of the tortoise's long life are biological and what? So they live long because of their biology and what? So Jubilant says evolutionary. Yeah, evolutionary is probably a good answer. Okay. And watch the word form. So Hinji Yato team says evolution, but you'll get evolution wrong. Is right because of the word form. Okay, so biological and evolutionary. If you have to search for that, of course, in the first, because it is the introduction. All right. Okay, while salmon lay thousands of eggs at once, tortoises rely on there to continue the species. Is the answer go into space number 7? Again, you don't have to search for this. If you know the English word, use it. There's a couple answers here that you can give to get that correct. So what's the correct answer for number 7? So Sakita says reproduction. No, I don't think so. Salmon rely on their thousands of eggs. And it's not reproduction. It's not slow metabolism. Okay, so if you have to, you could search for salmon, right? Because you remember learning about salmon or reading about salmon. So you go back and you look for the word salmon. I can see many of you are getting stuck here. So here we go. We know that's in this second paragraph. So here's salmon, salmon, okay? So while some animals rely on their vast number of eggs, the tortoise relies on what? So here's your answer going from here. Okay, what does the tortoise rely on? It's not. Aha, there. Now a lot of you got it. So it relies on its longevity. Okay. Now, here's the interesting part, ladies and gents. If we go back to that question, okay, if you did not get, so if you did not get the word on, okay, and you're like, oh, I don't know that word in English, so I have to search for that anyway. That's not true. If you put a word that's a perfect match, if you put like that, yes, it says, so it's plural, so that to be plural. Word it says, you'll get this correct. I'll give you the score for that because that's a perfect synonym for longevity. Okay, longevity and long lives are perfect synonyms. So I bet you that IELTS will give you this score or this mark. All right. I can't do anything about my voice, unfortunately, right now because it's not my side. So it's on the YouTube or on the internet server side. So there's not much I can do about that. You're just going to have to be patient. Okay. All right. So longevity or long lives, sorry, is the other correct answer. Lives. All right. Okay, let's take a look at the question here. Unlike the tortoise, animals such as the have very high metabolisms. So the passage gave an example of an animal has a very fast or very high rate of metabolism. If you're visualizing, you should have that. Okay. Lydia says that was the hummingbird. Animals such as the hummingbird, yeah. And if you're visualizing, you should see that hummingbird flapping its wings super, super, super fast. All right. So hummingbird. Hummingbird is one word. Okay? It's one word. It's not 2 words. All right? If you write it as 2 words, you will get it wrong. It's just one word, hummingbird. All is one word. Okay? It's a tricky one. That's why if you're not sure how to spell hummingbird, if you don't know that it's one word, you should look for it. Now, it's an easy word to look for because it is a long word. So you're searching for this very long word if you have to. And you'll probably find it where it talks about metabolisms. So, all right, we can't see it there. Okay, if you can't find it very quickly, then don't worry about it. Just write it down as best as you can. And if you have time at the very end, then search for it. But for those of you who are watching now, you'll know that hummingbird is spelt as one word. All right? That's right, Zamtube. Zamtube says computer-based test saves you time in rewriting the answers on the paper-based test. Yeah, that's true. All right. Here we go. Longevity hummingbird. Number 9. The tortoise's something protects them from attacks. We talked about this one already. It's the hard shell. All right. We said, yeah, this is probably hard shell. We did the reading. We read that it's their hard shell. So we know that's the correct answer. So we can just write this hard shell protects them from attacks, thus lengthening their life. Okay? Pay attention that this is a singular because the apostrophe is before the S. So this is hard shell. All right. So far, so good. Ladies and gents, thanks for bearing even with some of the technical issues. All right. Let's have a look at the true, false, not given questions. I know this is difficult for some students. True, false, not given, there's a very simple strategy that I'm going to teach you right now. It's very, very effective, okay? Here we go. Some of you already know this, so I'm just going to type this up for you nice and fast. I will definitely do true, false, not given here. Keith, just give me a second. All right, here we go. True, false, not given strategy, okay? All right. So this is what you need to do. First, ask. Is this information important for this passage? If yes, this is like computer logic. Okay, so if yes, then it's going to be true or false. If no, then not given. If you answered yes and true or false, then you move to second question. Okay. If no, then not given. Answer and go to next true, false, not given question. Okay. We'll do this in a minute, so if you're a little bit confused, don't worry. We'll do it together in 1 minute with these questions. Okay, second question is, so secondly, ask. And give an answer. Okay? If you don't know, then look at the passage. Okay? So this is the magic of true, false, not given strategy right there. All right? So first, ask, is this information important for the passage? If you answered yes, then it's going to be true or false. Move to the second question. And you ask, is it true or false? Answer it from what you understood or what your own knowledge tells you. If you don't know, then look at the passage. If for the first question, is this information important for the passage, you answer no, then it's going to be not given and you move on, okay? Don't spend valuable time skimming and scanning or searching for information that's not in the passage, okay? All right, let's do that together. Good to see you as well, Riamar. Thank you for that. All right, here we go. So, true, false, not given. Most islands do not have predators. Most islands do not have predators. Always pay attention to the tense as well. Is it true or false that most islands... Okay, so first of all, is this important to islands have or do not have predators? Is this important to this topic, that most islands do not have predators? Again, pay attention to the tense as well. This is present tense. Okay? Most islands do not have predators. Okay? Is this important for the long lives of turtles? So most of you are saying it's not important, so we'll go not, we'll move on. Okay? You're saying it's not important for this question. Okay. Sure. Then let's go to the next one. The most significant problems facing tortoises are caused by humans. So is it important? Is this important? Number 11, is that one important for this passage? Pranay says, yeah, that's definitely important. So yes, it's important. Move on. Is it given? Or sorry, is it true? So is it true? Most of the problems, Monica says that's true. Oh, is it important? Yes, it's important. Is it true or is it false? It's true, so it has to be true. Okay, number 12. The introduction of rats to tortoise habitats has affected the tortoise's lifespan. So the introduction of rats to the tortoise's habitat has affected the tortoise's lifespan. Is it important to know whether or not the introduction of rats has affected the tortoise? The tortoise's lifespan. Okay, some of you are saying true, some of you are saying it's false. Jubilant James says, yes, it's important. And is it true that it's affected the lifespan? How long the turtle lives? You're saying that's true. Okay, then let's put it true. All right, let's go to the next one. Tortoises must be returned to their original habitats to survive. So tortoises must be returned to their original habitat to survive. Is it important to know whether or not the tortoise has to be taken back to its original habitat to survive? Is it important? Shinozo says it's important. Some of you are saying it's not given. When you say it's not given, you're saying it's not important. Okay, you're saying it's not given. All right. Okay, so not given, true, true, not given. Is that it? All right, let's stay with that. Let's check our answers, see how we did. We can come back to these and discuss in a moment. Just bear with me. So here we go. Let's take a look at the answer key. Here we go. All right. Answer key is on page 158. And there we go. So the answers for the were F, C, E. We got a perfect score. I believe that was all correct. Okay, so F, C, E, B, and F. Okay, very good. Good job, students. All right. So far, so good. Okay, and then we did the filling in the blanks. So filling in the blanks, let's check that out. Evolutionary, great. Longevity, hey, look at that. Just like I told you, long lives, so they will take that answer. Hummingbird is one word, great. Hard shell, both words. If you just give the word shell, they will probably not give you that mark. You need hard. There's actually soft-shelled turtles as well, believe it or not. So hard shell. Okay. Now, let's see how we did on that false not given. Not given? Great. Yeah, okay. True? Yeah, we got that one correct. True, we got that correct. Not given. Hey, excellent. Good job, everyone. 13 out of 13 for that performance. Well done. All right. So that's how it works. If you have some chance of one of these wrong, that's okay. 3 out of 4 for true, false, not given. It's not bad. Take it. Go on to the next passage. Okay? All right. So number 4, oh, somebody's saying number 4 is wrong. Preeti says, hey, I think B is wrong. Okay, so did we get B wrong? Let's go back and look at why that might have been. Okay, so let's real quick. Oh, some animals have different methods of ensuring the species lives on. The answer is, hey, that wasn't about ways to protect themselves. That was about different ways of reproduction. So first instincts was correct. So here, salmon lay thousands of eggs. Humans have a few children, which we care for diligently. So B was the right answer for that one. It wasn't about poison. It wasn't about the intelligence in the hard shell. It was about the different methods of reproduction. So living on means reproduction in this case. But hey, 12 out of 13, you're still en route for band 8, band 8.5 for sure. Okay, ladies and gents, I hope you had a great class and you picked up some good information and strategies for your reading to practice at home and to use during your exam. Okay, again, please visit us at aehelp.com for academic IELTS and gieltshelp.com for general IELTS, where we have lots of high definition videos pre-recorded. Less technical errors in those for sure. I should say no technical errors. And 6 full original practice exams and a fully interactive course for your tablet, phone, and PC. Definitely good to go there. Spend a couple dollars, save yourself $300 to sit the next IELTS exam again, and also be confident to know that you're using good strategies that work. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I wish you all an awesome rest of your day. We'll continue tomorrow with some more reading strategy for matching people with information in the text. That will be a members chat class. Everybody's welcome to watch. Sweet dreams to all of you who are getting ready for bed, and have a wonderful day ahead for those of you who are just waking up and it's early in the western part of the world. Bye for now, everyone. See you tomorrow. Much love to all of you.